just called the serpent.
What's up guys, God of War Geek here. This is one of the most talked about topics within the God of War community. It is a topic I have talked about in great detail with fellow God of War fans via Discord for nearly a year now, but for various reasons I never got round to making a video on it, as well as many others. So here we are, finally. I have always maintained my stance as to who I think it is. In my mind there was only ever two who were the most likely candidates, but I always leaned more toward one than the other. The person who I believe blew the horn was Angrboda. I believe she has had a big role to play in this whole story, and with Tyr being locked away and Faye dead, Faye would need someone she could trust to keep the future they strive for moving forward. I also believe there is a certain criteria that has to be met due to what we saw and heard. First, you can't be Aesir or friend to the Aesir. Jormungandr won't entertain conversation with them and will most likely attack on sight, which is confirmed by the Raven Keeper. Second, Jormungandr would have to know you are a friend or family. And third, you have to be capable of communicating with Yormi and or have another form of communication, which I will bring up shortly. Each of these are so important. And with Angrboda being Jormungandr's mother, and no doubt raised him, she was most likely the one who taught him the language. Most of the characters could probably meet two of these criteria, but that's all well and good. But what's the point in talking if neither can understand each other? Unless there is a translator, which again, Kratos and Atreus have that in Mimir. Which is why the language is so important to all this. I also think there is a possibility of communicating via telepathy with Jormungandr. In lore and legends, Atreus once tried to read his mother's and one of Odin's ravens' thoughts. Plus we know he can hear the thoughts of animals and Draugr and so on. So it's possible Jormungandr can also do this, and maybe even Angrboda due to her connection with him. I also think Jormungandr's actions in the last game is more than enough evidence to suggest Angrboda should have always been one of anyone's top two choices, and it all revolves around Thor's statue. Thor's statue was there for at least 100 years. Jormungandr came from the future or another timeline depending on what you believe, so he has had more than enough experience with Thor and hates him. So when we threw the axe into the Lake of Nine, Jormungandr's head rose up more or less right next to Thor's statue. His head even passes by it at one point, yet he didn't even try to attack it. And when we blew the horn the first time, and he wakes up, he instantly sets eyes on it and eats it. He could have just headbutted it, or even pushed on it hard enough and it would have been destroyed. But no, he thought eating it and putting up with the pain of swallowing it was the right decision. Then we have the second time where we blew the horn, and we had to go inside him to find Mimir's other eye. Mimir states that Jormungandr isn't all that happy about it either, so we have potentially two moments in the story where Jormungandr did something he would have most likely opted against if he had the choice. So who would be capable of getting Jormungandr to do these things? Again, in my mind, I think it's fairly obvious. But that's all I have for this one guys. I would greatly appreciate it if you would like the video and subscribe. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. Share and click the bell to be notified for every time I post. Thanks again for watching, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you in the next one.